Hi everyone, and welcome back. As many of you have noticed, there's been an uptick in my video schedule, and a lot of that is because, um, just in case I go a long time without making videos again, there would be a somewhat fresh slate of videos that could last a bit. So, without further ado, I thought because of we're starting the end of Constantinople uh, the other day, we might revisit how Constantinople really got started and maybe see hints of like what was the legacy of Constantinople, the Eastern Roman Empire, and Byzantium. Now, the foundations of Constantinople start with Constantine. Constantine, for all intents and purposes, wanted to create a city that would last, that it would be something to rival Rome, and later, when the West's capital moves to Ravenna. And and it really shows because Byzantium, as I stated before, was an important spot because of the position of it leading to Anatolia. It serves as straits, it can control trade in the Black Sea, and it was in a spot where it could control the riches of the East. And in a lot of ways, Constantine also, in many ways, commemorated for the Edict of Milan that legalized Christianity. And in a lot of ways, he remade Byzantium into Constantinople through trade, powerful defenses, and includes some of the best architecture of late antiquity, and would hold the Hippodrome, which will be a center of the Eastern Empire for a while. Um, a lot of it also included a shift in imperial policy where Constantine really makes the emperor position official. Before this point, a lot of emperors tried to follow a tradition of being the leading citizen, while Constantine really tried to create a centralized imperial power. Now it's really is a monarchy, and in a lot of ways, he kind of sets up a lot of what we would imagine a monarchy to be. Um, be like the spectacle, the reverence of a monarch, and with Christianity and even some of the emperors before him, the divineness of the emperor. And he would try to standardize succession laws, but as we already seen the fall of the East, we already know that succession in the East was never a guarantee. And Constantine's legalization of Christianity is in no way saying he made it the main religion of Rome. he gave it the power and foundation to do it, but it would be more Theodosius the Second who really pushes for the official religion stance. And in a lot of ways, with the legalization of Christianity, um, and trying to redefine the empire, a lot of that would also include the Council of Nicaea, trying to the creation of Trinity, uh, official books of the Bible, all that, or at least the process of it, would start under Constantine and would define what it means to be a Catholic, a Orthodox, even down the road, a Protestant. All this was set up during the foundation of what would be the Byzantine Empire. And alongside that, Constantine would try to redefine towns, fortifications, what are the borders of the empire, uh, farming colonies, self-sufficiency of frontiers, um, trying to create more clear-cut roles between the civil service and the military. Really trying to recreate a bureaucracy that would last, and even strengthening an imperial council. Now, after that, the next big name emperor after Constantine over a century later would be Justinian. Now, if any of you have watched Extra History Justinian or Flashpoint History of the Byzantine Empire, you know that Justinian is kind of what would be called the last larger than life emperor. He created the Hagia Sophia. In many ways, he would kind of do more than the Council of Chalcedon in defining what it means to be even an Orthodox Christian. And in a lot of ways, he would try his best to drive out the last of the pagans, which kinda also means he basically outlawed the school of Athens of philosophy. He would make Constantinople an important point in the silk trade and actually utilize Nestorian monks in bringing silkworms to Constantinople. He he would build the Hagia Sophia, probably one of the most magnificent architectures that kind of lasted to still stand from late antiquity, early medieval. He built several churches and monasteries. The reason why Justinian is important is, while Constantine legalized Christianity and in many ways was the first Christian Roman emperor, and Theodosius would make it the state religion, Justinian defined what it meant to be a Christian emperor of a Christian empire, and he would kind of be one of the final emperors to really have much influence over the Pope in Rome. Now, Justinian would be also important in actually also creating a standardized law system and codification of laws and making them accessible, easy to understand, and in a lot of ways, our modern judicial system and legal system is a product of Justinian. Now, Justinian is larger than life, also because of his attempts at reconquering the West, his reconquest of North Africa, and even gained part of was modern Spain, what was then called Hispania, back under the Roman Empire and into the purview of Constantinople. Now, this is important in many ways because the mines of Spain, the power of trade in North Africa, the mines in the east, and the grain of Egypt were all important resources that really was important parts of back when Rome was whole and not divided into two. All these resources did a lot in fueling the Roman economy. But unfortunately, because of how overstretched the empire was with the conquests and later Justinian's plague, which is probably one of the first instances of the bubonic plague, Constantinople just did not have the population to hold the new frontier. It didn't have the military, it didn't have the fortification. While Justinian did try to reform all this in his reign, we are talking about basically from Greece, Anatolia down to Egypt to most of North Africa, a sliver of Spain, and trying to retake the boot of Italy and retaking Sicily, while also contending with revolts at home, facing the Sassanid Iranians. All this overstretched Justinian. And all this would come to be a reckoning under Emperor Heraclius. Heraclius is complicated because he would be the emperor that proved that you can be emperor by overthrowing the previous one and utilizing the military to do it. And while that isn't unheard of in Rome, post Christianity and especially post Justinian, this was a big deal. And he would do a lot of propaganda to try and really utilize the spectacle of the emperors. and tried to expose him and the imperial family to really solidify his position. Unfortunately, he married a close relative with his second wife, and while he, in many ways, he tried to be a competent emperor, commander, and theologian, and he was an excellent strategist. Unfortunately, by marrying a close relative, he kind of created an idea amongst his citizens and amongst the church that a lot of the things that went wrong in his reign was tied to the displeasure of God, and one of the things that happened in his reign was the Arab invasions. During most of his reign, before the Arab invasions, he was fighting kind of the last battles and the last part of a long war between the East and the Sasanians of Iran. While he would win some stunning victories, in the end, no real board changes happen. He basically just recaptured a bunch of territory that was lost early on in the war, and basically it was more of a PR victory and Pyrrhic victory than a strategic one. And then you have the Arab invasions. The Arab invasions happened fast, and very quickly Jerusalem was lost. Most of the Levant, Syria, Egypt, North Africa, all that was lost very fast. And while that might sound bad, and it was, it it would be more accurate to say it was an amputation, because at this point, like I said, the empire was overstretched, and by concentrating into strategic points in Anatolia, was modern day Turkey, and utilizing the geography to do it, the empire would survive. Probably one of the main reasons it did survive and survive past the Arab conquest and the later sieges of Constantinople was because it was able to use its geography and added fortifications to survive the attacks. And in a lot of ways, Heraclius's other reforms, by redefining the legacy of Rome in Constantinople into being Greek, and acknowledging the fact that Greece and Anatolia were the main cultural influences of what was left of Rome. In a lot of ways, that would affect, again, the Orthodox Church. It would affect kind of the very culture of Rome, and would be probably one of the longest standing legacies of Constantinople. And this is probably a good place to end for going back to the beginning of the Byzantine Empire. Thank you for listening.